And hello, boys and girls. This is your old pal, Uncle Al. Ah, need a coffee? Just like Will, drink coffee. Now, you see in the title, it's a VR response to Will's 1950 surviving a nuclear blast. Now, why am I holding this up? Well, during the time of the 50s, this is a fun fact, folks. During the time of the 50s, United States were kind of crazy and worried about the Russians invading America. So they had about 1 million of these M1 carbines with 2 magazines packed away in nitrogen sealed drums all out through the US in hidden locations. Now, some days people, like I think about 10 years ago in New York, found a stack of these M1 carbines. This is why I show this book. Still good in the drums. These were all wax coated, whatchamacallit, graphite, lubed. They're ready for to fight off the Russians. They found big ammo cans. These were the spam cans. I think Will knows about it. I know about it. This is before West Wind's time and a few others. But they used to have these green cans, 800 rounds of M1 carbine ammo. And then a lot of people didn't realize that they didn't understand why people put guns and drugs and ammo in tin cans. They couldn't understand this. That was a drug dealer's secret warfare lab or something. But they found out that was part of Eisenhower's secret fight back the Russian plans in the late 50s, which everybody thought was nuts. And you could still find throughout the U.S., I think one in national parks has a cavern. I know there's one in California near the Southern Sierras that there's actually a display where you walk in and you look and you'll see, because they choose caves to hide people from the bombs and the radiation. And they had all this stuff. They had water tanks. They had food. It wasn't great food, folks. It was like weird graham cracker kind of biscuits and kind of like a sea biscuit that never rots. And I guess some kind of weird powder soup. Soup and crackers. Yeah, make America great. I think that was Tricky Dick, Tricky Dick, or Nixon. That was Eisenhower's vice president telling people. "Ugh." But anyway, the big problem was that it's now a museum and people walk through it. You know, either side of the cave, it's got up to the ridge of the ceiling of the cavern full of civil defense supplies. And that's supposed to last whoever's inside the cave to last out whatever. And you brought whatever food or whatever thing you brought from home, and you had your own little area. And they had one portion of the cavern. Now it's all still sealed up in the boxes, wooden boxes. They didn't have good cardboard back then. A bed that you pull out, and if you died on the bed from radiation, the bed is still there. The metal frame decontaminates that, but the cushion where your body fluids dripped and stuff folds up into a body bag, and you get tossed outside. That's little gross history on Alan learns. But also a weird part is someplace in the country, over 1 million of these carbines are hidden around. So I go poke around the ground a little bit, kids. You might find something. Nowadays, short video, everybody's like chemical warfare, nuclear warfare, Hawaii freaking out. What are we going to do? Okay, and yes, I know about the 50s and 60s. Learn how to survive the bomb, the whole bit. And you can get this still off of Amazon if you want to know what was Will talking about in his video, surviving the nuclear bomb. okay, during the 50s and 60s. Now, I couldn't find my Soviet civil defense manuals. I have two of them from my days in the Air Force and contracting with the military. One was a recent one in the 80s, and one was dated back from the 60s. I think it was early 60s, late 50s, of what the Soviets would counter their version of civil defense. And theirs like similar to ours, but they were well organized and they had better shelters than, we'll hop into the roadside ditches and cover ourselves with dirt. No, these guys went through the invasion of the Nazis, so they were really stoked. And if you look through YouTube videos, you will see most of them have really good bunkers. And nowadays you find like chemical suits, gas masks, all the weapons are gone sometimes. Um, all the food is gone. Nobody wanted the food. Trust me. You had a big can of food, you pull it out. Basically, it was dark bread, bleh, and there's another open another can, and you had, like in American Civil War, desiccated or dried vegetables into a compressed brick. Trust me, I read the book, and most of the um, people that civilians would volunteer for the army because they had better food. What they ate was like basically chopped up cabbage, turnip tops, beet tops, chopped up vegetable matter, dried and compressed hydraulically into a cube that they threw into boiling water and with the gruel, buckwheat gruel, fed to the survivors of a nuclear attack. Green vomit and brown vomit. Not a very good choice of food matter. Now, another one was Art of Survival, which was the German book. This is out of print, kids. You won't find it. Same as the Soviet civil defense books. I have two copies, and Uncle Alan doesn't remember where the hell he put it. Losing my mind. Okay, this is the Art of Survival, originally written in German. This covers the early days, late 50s, early 60s, of the American space program, survival programs for the Air Force, Marines, Navy, you name it. This covers all that plus nuclear warfare. Now, what the funny thing is, back then during the 50s and early 60s, my dad was part of it, was running into the woods because these guys survived the Depression, World War II, the 50s. My dad, he survived World War II and the Korean War, and he knew what he was talking about. He told us kids, back then he had glass jugs, drank a lot of wine, big wine jug. Ask Will about that. Or he had a Coleman cooler jug full of water, about two of them. He'll have a couple cans of gas, and he'll grab his sleeping bag and his 22, and he had his fishing gear and camping gear always in his trunk, so he's off and going. And he'll have his War II multi-fuel burning stove, which scared the hell out of me as a kid. It's like a little dragon flamethrower. Now, if you go check Dave Canterbury's Classic Woodsman, those gas can thing, Monster Fire, was popular with my dad's generation. He was a woodsman. All he needed was his 22 sleeping bag and a hatchet. And he said, "Be a man, go out there." And I'm like, "Hey, I'm only 12. Screw this. I like the woods, but seriously, Dad." He wanted like, "You're a man, go kill a bear. Here's a stick." Of course, he drank all the time. Back then, during the 50s and early 60s, you could still drink and drive. Nowadays, you can't do that. And he used to have a cup holder to hold his lucky beer, so it scared the crap out of me. Also, he smoked. Excuse me. Also, he smoked a lot too. Now, I gotta keep this short. So like and subscribe, folks. Where's Dino? Hi, I'm Dino the dinosaur. Like and subscribe to Uncle Al, aka Diebulfrog79. And today's shout out is Just in Time Prepping. That's Will's channel. Please check him out. He's on tomorrow, Saturday at 7 p.m. Bye, kids.